The moment I came back to life, the first thing I did was swallow an entire boulder whole. Even if it tore me apart, I forced it down anyway, and in front of the whole class I made the most popular girl in school swallow a live snake. Everyone thought I'd lost my mind, but what they didn't know was that in less than a minute, every living creature on Earth was about to mutate. And whatever you ate right before it happened would determine what superpower you'd awaken. In my past life, right before the catastrophe hit, I ate a lamb dumpling. That's how I ended up with a trash tier ability called wool growth. At first it had some minor use, burning mental energy to grow wool in extreme weather conditions. But as the mutant beasts kept getting stronger, I became completely helpless. A lamb waiting to be slaughtered. In my past life, I once saw a massive dog with the power of a god. Turns out it was just a street mutt owned by an antique shop owner who had mutated. I later found out the dog accidentally swallowed a rock while protecting its owner. That's what triggered it. After I came back, I went straight to that antique shop on the south side and scraped together enough money to buy that rock. The reason? My classmate Xiao Qingqing had always had feelings for me. In my past life, when everything fell apart, she never once left my side. She'd awakened an ice ability powerful enough to survive on her own, but she stayed anyway, protecting me, a dead weight with a useless power. Because of me, we both ended up inside some monster's stomach. Now that I'm back, I'm making sure she gets a real power this time. In my past life, her pet snake went through the mutation and became a flood dragon. With the right conditions, it could eventually evolve into a 5-clawed divine dragon. And from everything humanity figured out in the last timeline, you have to swallow it alive to unlock its full potential. If only that dragon vein rock could be split, I would have given her half. Even a second-tier flood dragon ability would still be miles above average. Faced with my stubbornness, Xiao Qingqing looked absolutely torn. On one side, the boy she'd liked for years. On the other, her most treasured pet. But when she looked at the certainty in my eyes, she made up her mind. I'm sorry, for Zhang Hao, I'll do anything. She grabbed the little snake, pinched its head, and right there in front of everyone, swallowed it down like she was eating noodles. Seeing Qingqing go along with my madness, the whole class was dead silent, then exploded into screams. It wasn't until she sprinted to the water cooler and started gulping water, then slumped against the wall, gagging, that everyone finally snapped back to reality. No way, Xiao Qingqing, you actually did it? Qingqing, are you insane? Zhang Hao told you to eat it and you just did. Oh my god, that was her baby. She loves those little pets more than anything. What kind of hold does this guy have on her? Qingqing, you can't swallow a live snake. Your throat could start bleeding any second. Even the teacher still hadn't recovered from the shock, completely unable to process what these kids had just done. In the middle of all the chaos, I quietly walked over to Qingqing's side. Her face was white as a sheet, a few strands of hair stuck to her forehead with cold sweat. She looked fragile and completely wrecked. I wasn't doing much better. I was fighting through waves of searing pain in my gut as I pulled her close and held her tight. I did it. Qingqing let out a pained grunt, smiled through it, and wrapped her arms around my waist. I gently brushed my hand across her pale cheek. The sight of it scared the teacher half to death. She grabbed her phone and called 911. Meanwhile, Gao Chen, the guy who'd been chasing Qingqing forever and getting rejected every single time, felt like his skull was about to split open. The rage nearly blacked him out. Built like a tank, years of gym time under his belt, he came stomping over with heavy, furious steps. You're dead! You knew she liked you and you still made her eat a snake? That yell hit like a thunderclap and made the whole class flinch. But I didn't even look up. I just held Qingqing tighter as she got weaker, pulled out my phone, and locked my eyes on the clock. Gao Chen shoved through the crowd and charged straight at me. I held Qingqing and started quietly counting down, letting him come, not moving an inch. He vaulted over desks and steps. His massive frame was almost on top of us. Half the room held their breath. The instant the clock hit 10, a blinding burst of energy exploded outside the window. The light was so intense nobody could keep their eyes open. It lasted only a second. But Gao Chen, hit full force by the flash, went temporarily blind and crashed hard to the floor. After the light faded, an invisible electromagnetic storm would sweep across the entire solar system within seconds. Most people shook it off and didn't think much of it. A few tried to look it up online, only to find their phones had zero signal. What just happened? That light was brutal. My phone's got no service. Did a cell tower just blow up? Gao Chen picked himself up off the floor and came charging at me again, angrier than ever. I'm settling this today for Qingqing. Pure murder in his voice. The guy was built, 6'3", years of serious training. Everyone in the room was quietly panicking for me. But just as that massive fist was about to connect, everything changed. A streak of blood-red light poured down from the sky. The solar storm threw the magnetic field into chaos, and the color of the sky itself began to shift. The moment that phenomenon appeared, Qingqing let out a gut-wrenching scream in my arms. Everyone spun around to look. Qingqing, still pale from swallowing the snake, was visibly changing. A pair of dragon horns had grown from her head, crackling with silver lightning. Pale blue-green scales scattered across her face, giving her an otherworldly, almost hypnotic look. Coiled around her shoulders and spine was a small flood dragon wreathed in blue smoke. Blue-white lightning arced along the dragon's body. Her pale blue dress was layered in shimmering scales, glowing softly, tracing every curve of her silhouette. A blue-white dragon tail swept slowly behind her. She looked like a sacred beast priestess straight out of mythology. Name, Xiao Qingqing. Rank, Tier 1. Ether weapon. Azure Spirit Longsword. Ether armor. Jade Spirit armor. Ether. Familiar. Jade Moon Flood Dragon. Abilities. Divine Jade Thunder. Stormcaller. Rating. A tier. Divine Jade Thunder fires devastating blue-white lightning and is especially effective against ghost and dark-type creatures. Stormcaller allows her to ride the clouds and command the weather. That's exactly why I made her swallow the snake. Every bit of it was for her sake. And since she was already ride or die for me, there was no way she'd let anyone come at me unchecked. She stepped in front of me and blocked Gao Chen's full-force punch with one hand like it was nothing. Not only did he fail to hurt her, the moment he touched her Jade Spirit armor, the Divine Jade Thunder coating it burned him on contact. He let out a blood-curdling scream. The scales on Qing Qing's face slowly sank back into her skin, and the dragon horns retracted just as quickly. She was back to normal. Even she seemed startled by the sudden surge of power. She turned around and came straight back to my side. She'd been hoping I'd say something, give her some praise. But even though I looked the same as before, Qing Qing felt something she couldn't explain. Standing in front of me, she felt a tremor rising from somewhere deep in her soul. That primal fear you feel when a prey animal comes face to face with its natural predator. She had a feeling she couldn't quite name yet. She didn't know what secret I was hiding, but that instinctive urge to submit to me only made her feelings grow stronger. She had no idea how I knew everything about the catastrophe, but she was certain I'd never hurt her. Every ounce of power she now had, I gave it to her. Right at that moment, a wave of crimson light poured in through the windows. Almost instantly, Gao Chen's screaming stopped cold. People who had no idea what was going on started panicking and screaming at the eerie red sky. The classroom erupted into total chaos. What's going on? Did Qing Qing do this? Something's grabbing me. Help! The moment the crimson light faded, a massive, mangled, fish-like creature appeared in the classroom. Bones punching through flesh, exposed for all to see. Everyone else just collapsed to the floor in terror. They all stared in horror at the two bodies twitching beneath the monster. That blood-soaked, nightmarish thing was still making wet chewing sounds. All these creatures shared one common feature. Their skin was their own flesh, turned inside out. Grotesque didn't even begin to cover it. They looked like demons crawled straight out of hell, blades in hand, fangs dripping. They grabbed students and tore them in half on the spot, then started feasting. What was just a slightly chaotic classroom had become a living nightmare.